Hello, everyone, and welcome to our How to College virtual chats. My name is Rick Garcia, and I am a coordinator for New Student Connections here at the University of South Florida. New Student Connections is an office here at USF available to new and continuing students to help get you all connected with a variety of resources, opportunities, and information to help you be successful with regard to a number of academic topics, as well as helping you build community and make friends. Part of that is hosting events like these How to College virtual chats, which are designed to help you learn more about a variety of these academic and institutional topics that you might be curious about and give you an opportunity to get your questions answered. In a moment here, you'll see a link sent in the announcement section of the Q&A. This is our attendance link. Please go ahead and give that a quick click and let us know that you're here with us tonight. That'll be really helpful for us and also give you an opportunity to give us some feedback so we can keep improving these events for you all. I'd like to give you all a quick overview of what we'll be doing here tonight in these chats. So we're all here to learn more about the study skills mentors and how to adjust our studying techniques via the study skills mentors to college courses. So we will hear from some of our great student leaders from their experiences and get to know them a little bit, and then hear from a great campus partner who is an expert in all things study skills, and to tell us more about the Study Skills Mentors resources and how you all can take advantage of them. And then finally, after they conclude their presentation, we will have a Q&A where you'll be able to ask all of these people questions, get some great information to help you all be successful. So while the presentation is happening, you can start sending in your questions. We'll be sure to get all of those answered once we actually hit the Q&A. Before we dive in any further, though, just a few quick housekeeping rules. So this session is currently being recorded. So should you want to come back and revisit this content later, or know someone who will want to watch this at a later time, you'll be able to access this presentation on the New Student Connections YouTube channel and website. In addition, we're really excited to create this space for you all to learn more about these topics and get your questions answered. With that, this is a part of the University of South Florida, and something we really embrace and believe in here are our principles of community, one of which involves dialogue with respect. So we're going to be sure to really embody that tonight and keep our questions relevant to the content at hand tonight. In a moment here, I'm going to turn it over to some of our great student leaders and New Student Connections that we like to call our peer advisor leaders, or PALs. These are student leaders available to help new and continuing students get connected to a variety of these resources and opportunities at USF. So first PAL joining us here is Summer, and Summer is a third-year student majoring in health sciences. And Summer is also joined by Manahil, another third-year student who's majoring in finance. Take it away, y'all.
Thanks, Rick. Like he said, I'm Summer, and I'm super excited to be here with you tonight. I'm a third-year student majoring in health sciences from St. Louis, Missouri. Tonight, we're going to be learning more about all things study skills mentors, including how study skills mentors can help you become a more effective learner, the process to set up an appointment and what to expect, and who the mentors are. By the end of this session, you'll have some great tools and information on study skills mentors.
That's right, Summer. I'm Manahil. I'm a third-year majoring in finance from Orlando, Florida. I don't know about you all, but I'm excited to learn more about study skill mentors. We have some folks here with us that are experts on campus when it comes to this topic. So please allow me to introduce Jamie Zolick, a study skills mentor in the Academic Success Center. We will be in great hands learning from her.
Hi, thank you, everyone. My name is Jamie Zolick. I am a master's student at the University of South Florida in the Department of Anthropology. I was also here for my undergraduate in cell molecular biology, so I've been here for ongoing 5 to 6 years now. I am a study skills mentor and a tutor at the Academic Success Center. And so there can be a lot of challenges being a student, and the Academic Success Center has many resources to help students along and give them the tools they need to succeed. When students think of the Academic Success Center, they usually think of tutoring and helping with specific course material. But besides tutoring, we also have something called the Study Skills Mentors, and this really helps hone in skills of time management, effective studying techniques, reading more effectively, memory strategies, test preparations, and more. So instead of having a problem where specific course material, which you would standardly go see a tutor. Let's say you have 5 courses, a job, and family commitments, and you're having trouble submitting assignments on time, or you feel as though you're studying for so many hours, but it's not effectively paying off, you're not seeing it in your scores. These are issues that study skills mentors such as myself can help with. And as a study skills mentor, we are trained in tools, in a variety of tools to help students succeed. So what does the process look like? So study skills mentor is a one-on-one interaction between a mentor and a student. And to set up an appointment, you would go online like this. There will be an email with a direct link sent after this talk. Make sure to do the attendance link to receive this link. But you can also find this at the Academic Success Center homepage. And what you would do is you would fill out your information, what you need assistance with, and if you need assistance with Study Skills Mentor, that's the one you will click on, and you will set up an appointment. An appointment is 45 minutes face-to-face with a mentor. And what typically happens is a student will come in and either express to the mentor an issue that they have, say they know that they're having trouble with time management, or they want to work on some note-taking skills. They can either introduce this to the mentor and they will help relay tools to help you, or sometimes students come in just really stressed, they don't know what they're doing wrong, and that's a great way to just come in and get help. What a mentor would do is just have a conversation. We will pinpoint some sort of specific issue that they feel is going on, and they will give you the tools for that. All appointments are very individual and specific to you and your needs. In addition to mentors giving you the resources, we also want to follow up. If you are not comfortable with what's been given to you, if you are unsure about the plan we have set for you, try it out and you can make an additional appointment with a study skills mentor. Come back and we can reassess the situation to better strategize what will help best for you. So let's say a student comes in and they come in and they say, I just can't submit my assignments on time. A study skills mentor may give you advice such as, let's make a semester master plan. And this is a really good a piece of advice that I would give to everyone. So when you come to the university, when you come to your class, the first day of class, you'll be given a syllabi. On the syllabus, it will have every assignment you'll have that semester, including your test dates. A semester plan is taking those dates and putting it into one calendar. And so therefore you can see, okay, I have 3 tests this week, so it might not be reasonable to write this paper this week as well. So I have to plan ahead. And that's really good to know which weeks will be more stressful than others and how to plan ahead. Tutor might go a step further and plan out a week. Okay, I'll do my homework on Monday and Wednesday, and I'll work Thursday, Friday. Or we can cut it down even day by day. Okay, I'm going to study this time, I'm going to break this time, and etc. If a student comes in and says, I have trouble submitting assignments, that might be a procrastination issue, which we also have tools for to help students get cope with some of the bad behavior that they have and to overcome the procrastination and to succeed. And so who are these mentors? So the mentors such as myself are just students. We struggle just like everyone. We have our own problems that we've had to overcome. And so we know what it's like to juggle all these things, and it's really difficult. I know when I came to USF, I had a very difficult time with the course load. Not that it was so difficult, it's just it took a lot longer than I was used to. And it was also weird for me to have all my assignments on a syllabi. Like it felt like a checklist that I needed to get ahead. But then when I look back, I wasn't even staying where I needed to be. I was falling behind. So making this master plan really helped me out. Even though you could never really get ahead, you always knew you were in a good spot of staying right on track with this master plan. And it's not just for you have trouble time management or procrastination, this is also something that you can use if you're going from a lower level course to a higher level course. So when I was a senior, I thought that would be the easiest year for me because I've been there for so long that I would, whatever challenge throw at me, I've seen before. But that's not really true. As you go higher, the classes do get harder, which is normal. So when I was in my course in senior year, I wasn't doing that well, and I was really frustrated, and I had to revise my study habits using the skills I've learned as a mentor. And so don't be afraid if at any point you feel frustrated. Make sure to make an appointment. Make sure to reach out because we are here for you. If you're unsure if you should see someone, see us. If you're not sure that's a problem that we can help with, come see us because we are trained mentors that we can hopefully point you in the direction towards a resource that will help you. And we will give you the strategies that you will need to successfully go out the rest of your college career, hopefully. And we're really fun to talk to sometimes. And yes, again, there's going to be a follow-up email with, with a follow-up to how to make an appointment with a mentor and to learn the support resources at the ASC. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Your presentation was wonderful. Now, I'm sure that was a lot of information for everyone, so go ahead and send your questions if you haven't already. We're going to get into the Q&A section of this session. Go ahead and send them in, and we'll start going through them. Okay, so the first question here is how often can I make appointments?
So you can make an appointment for any tutoring session 2 times a week. So if you want, this is for all tutoring. So if you want chemistry tutoring, you can make 2 appointments a week with chemistry. If you want study skills, make 2 study skills appointments. Now, it doesn't matter if you've already made a chemistry, as long as you don't have more than 2 study skills appointments. So you can have 2 a week. That's the standard.
And I think that's a really good idea to make more. You shouldn't limit yourself based on like just 1 appointment and you're ready to go. I think it's really a process. So don't be afraid to make more than 1 appointment.
That's a great suggestion. We are there for students. We are eager to help. If you just want a conversation with how you're doing and how your progress, we are here for you if you can make an appointment. So there is no waste of an appointment. Come as many times as you want. We are here to help. We're here to support. That was a good question too.
All right, thank you so much for that. Our next question is, are there any unique challenges in terms of study skills and time management that a fully online course load presents?
That's a really good question. Personally, as a student who is now taking online courses, I have found it is very difficult for me, I'm a very big procrastinator. And when things are online and I'm not moving around and I'm home and I have a comfy bed and I have a TV, I feel I can put things off because I have nowhere to go. And it's really easy to slip back into procrastination. And this falls along with time management. A key thing that has worked for me is to make myself a schedule throughout the whole day, not just when I'm going to do certain assignments, but also when I'm going to take my breaks. Because if I don't have my breaks already logged in there, I'm going to take a break all morning, and then I might as well just take one all night. So it turns into like a whole day of me doing nothing. So my suggestion is you can either make a whole schedule using like a calendar on your computer, or if you have a physical one, to make when you're going to study, when you're going to do an assignment, and when you're going to take your breaks. just to keep you in check. I usually do it the night before a day. Another thing is, because time is like irrelevant when you're stuck inside, make sure you log at least, when you start your classes up, 2 hours per credit. That's usually the rule of studying. So if you're taking 12 credit hours a semester, that's 24 hours of studying. And that's a good benchmark of how much time to put aside per class. And of course, you can adjust that as you go along. But especially when the semester begins and you're like, forget how to study and put time aside, that's the amount of time I would put aside per class. Yes, and also, again, I'm a big advocate for the semester master plan. Just to know when everything is due, just to plan ahead, to see when weeks are going to be harder than others. I would suggest doing that as well to help reduce as much stress as possible during this time.
Okay, thank you so much, Jamie. That was super helpful. So how can I avoid procrastination is the next question. And how have you done that as students?
That's a great question. I am one of the biggest procrastinators I know. So I have tried a lot of tricks. And again, the biggest thing for me is prioritizing the deadlines of things. I need to do this today, and I have to do it a day before it's due. In case something happens, I still have some leeway. Another big thing that I do is I break big tasks into little tasks. So I had to watch like a 3-hour video of some math statistics the other day, and I had to break that down into increments of maybe 30 minutes at a time, switching things up just to keep my mind going. Another thing I do is, when it's really bad, you study for like 10 minutes and you take a break for 10 minutes, and then you study for 15 and then you take a break for 10 minutes. And this is alternating thing so that you have very small increments but still have breaks. But make sure to measure how long your breaks are going to be, because then you'll get sucked into, like I do, YouTube or something like unproductive, and you just stay on there for hours. So make sure to mark exactly when you're going to allow yourself to take breaks. And also create a behavior that makes you positive about work. Like, put your books out so you can see them, that you know, reminding yourself, I have to do work, or you're bringing your planner everywhere. Say things not like, I can't do it, or just be like, you know what, right now it's not a good time, but I am going to do it. And then tell yourself a time and mark it down when you're going to do it. Creating this behavior and mindset that it's tough, you're struggling, and you know, that's fine, but I am going to get through this because I've made it this far. That proves to myself that I'm strong enough to keep going. And once you switch this mindset, it gets a lot easier, but it is really hard when you slip back and then you have to come back out. But these are tricks that seem to really help me personally.
No, yeah, that makes perfect sense. The forgiveness part I really like too, because as a procrastinator myself, I kind of like mentally beat myself up about not doing stuff, and you know, but I found that rewarding myself really helps. So like Jamie was saying, I'll do like an hour of work and then I'll take a short break, maybe eat like a snack or watch Netflix, that kind of thing. And then I also joined a few study groups, especially remotely. It's helped a lot. We kind of like check in on each other and keep each other committed to like our workload. So that's really helpful as well.
Those are some great points, Summer and Jamie. For me, I'm a procrastinator as well. So personally, what I've found helpful is that I tend to put my phone away while I'm doing my work. So and then also, like Summer said, give yourself some breaks. So I'll put my phone away and then I'll do my work, and then I'll take like a short 10-minute break, just check my phone. And then also, like you said about setting out your books and everything, that kind of motivates me to have like a mindset that, okay, now I'm going to work. And if I find myself not being able to work like in my room or something, then I'll just go outside, and change of scenery also helps. So thank you so much for answering those questions. Our next question is, I did well in high school, but I didn't really need to study, so now I'm worried about adjusting. How could a mentor help me?
Yes, that's a good question. A mentor could definitely help in this situation. No matter how, I did very well in high school, as probably many people coming to USF. It is very different. There's nothing that can really prepare you for it, but it is doable. And so a mentor could really help with, so when I first came in, for like example, I felt like I didn't have to study a lot in high school, so I didn't really have the study skills I needed to study such much material that the college was expecting of me. So study skills mentors, we have tools such as note-taking. So you want to take notes really effectively because you don't want to go back and reread everything. So if you can take good enough notes the first time, they'll save you a lot of time because time is like your real constraint when you go to the university. And so to take effective notes, to not just passively write things down, but to ask yourself questions when you're reading things, reviewing things in blocks, not just like the whole chapter, but maybe a section of it at a time. These are tools that can help you effectively study and feel like you're not just wasting a lot of time and not getting results. Study skills can also help manage your time. A lot of people, this is their first time away from, well, if we were on campus, it was the first time away from home, but it's a very big responsibility, no matter where you are, to make yourself go to class, do the homework, do the test, because you're not going to have a professor meet you in the hallway and tell you you got to get your stuff together. This is all up to you now. So it's really a lot to put on yourself. And a lot of people, like myself, didn't have time management skills, so we can help with that and organize day-to-day life. And again, we're there for support. It's a very big transition. So we're just here to support people. And if you're even a little bit worried, like, it doesn't hurt to make an appointment. We're here. We're not going to be like, oh, that's not a big enough problem for us. No, we're here no matter what kind of problem you have. So definitely a USF mentor, study skills mentor can help.
Again, thank you, Jamie. You're super helpful. So I'm just going to add to this. Coming into college, I didn't really have like any different study strategies. I kind of just used flashcards for absolutely everything. So I think it's important that you don't know like what you don't know type of thing. So even just like making an appointment to see like what else a study skills mentor could offer is like super, super helpful. All right, so on to the next question. As a study skills mentor, how do you suggest studying for every course?
Oh, that's good. I have to talk about this. Yeah, so I don't know if it's a college thing, but for me, what I've noticed through everyone is everyone studies for different courses differently. There is not one fit for all of your courses, and I think that's a very important thing to know, like recognizing yourself when you start a semester, what classes need what kind of attention. And so that's when the 2 hour per credit hour is a good start for everything. And then that's where you review. I would suggest making sure all of your notes are separated. Make sure each class has its separate notes. I would suggest starting out your 2 hours a week per credit so that you have enough time allotted. And then it's usually within the first few months to the first exam that you can check, okay, have I really paid off in the way I've attempted this course? I would also make sure to note that each course also has a different study tactic. So for me, for math, I love talking to people about it, writing on the whiteboard, but when I do biology, I'm very stressed. I get really anxious, so I kind of study a lot at home, and then I can go and talk with others. I would suggest finding out which I would definitely, that might be my suggestion. What kind of resources and tools do you need per course? What kind of time? Because you don't want to waste time on one course and neglect another and vice versa. So it's not one size fits all for this scenario.
Thank you so much for that. I just wanted to add something to it. So personally, for me, it took me a while to figure out what works for me and what doesn't. So like you mentioned, the math classes, how I study for my math classes is like a lot of practice, just do the problems over and over again. And I would like figure out like, if there's different numbers, can I still figure it out? Because if I can, then that means that I know how to do the problem, not just because it's with these numbers. And when it comes to like science classes, biology, chemistry, flashcards really help me. So it just depends on like yourself, and you have to really, I guess like once you figure out like what works for you, then it will become easier as you go through college. All right, moving on to the next question. Do you think it would be wise to see a mentor at the beginning of the year as a preventive step to avoid slipping into bad habits, or is it better to come in and address specific issues as they arise?
That's a good question. I think it's up to personally. My recommendation is come in. It's better to stay in the good area than to slip back in the bad and work your way back up. Again, we're always here. If you can make an appointment, come in. If you feel like you're fine, you don't have definitely come in if you feel like you're having a problem. When in doubt, make an appointment. It doesn't hurt. It actually benefits. And again, we like talking to people. We can also do this where you can make reoccurring appointments. So like you make an appointment once a week, and each day we'll do like a theme. So one will be time management, one will be procrastination. We'll check up on the previous ones. Another one will be memory strategies. And so we could do like a session where we organize in like your own folder. We'll have your name, your information, and we'll be like, okay, week 1, we're going to do this. Week 2, we're going to do that, and stuff like that. That's a really good way to kind of boost yourself up, have a good, strong start of the semester, get yourself motivated, especially when you're on the line and you're not like feeling the college, because you're just talking to people through a screen sometimes. This could actually really help you get like motivated and really excited about starting college and doing your courses this semester. Is make recurring appointments.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea, Jamie. And I think it's important to note too that a lot of classes are like cumulative. So basically, like if you're not retaining stuff from the beginning, it's going to really hurt you in the end. So if you're not like studying the right way or anything like that, it might be like too far gone at some point. You really should like get on top of it, at least in my experience. So I would definitely come in, like even if you have the slightest doubt that you might need help in that area. So the next question is, what if I need longer than 45 minutes to help me with what I'm looking for?
Yes. So again, you can make recurring appointments if you don't feel 45 minutes are long enough. Again, if you have a lot of issues you want to cover, we can do sessions of focusing on certain issues and certain sessions. If it is a problem, and remember, the study skills mentors, we are trained to know the resources on campus. If we feel that this is a big enough problem for maybe another resource on campus to help, we can point you in that direction as well. And yes, I just want to go back to the previous statement Summer was saying. It is very difficult to get out of when you're falling behind, especially in that first few weeks. If you've fallen really behind, it's really hard to catch up. So it's really important to check yourself the whole time and make sure you're not slipping, because it is very, very difficult to get back out. But it's not impossible, and we're here to help in whatever case you might have.
Thank you so much. Our next question is, what advice do you have for incoming freshmen adjusting to college?
That's a good question. It's difficult because I'm going to be honest. It's difficult because we have a different freshman experience now. My advice is don't stress too much about how you're studying compared to others. I'm a very competitive person. When I saw people studying 10 times more than me, I got really, really nervous. Maybe that's just their studying habit, but when I reflect on my grade, it was what I needed, not needed, but this is what the grade I wanted. don't compare yourself to others, and also don't get too fixed up in how you're doing. Make sure you putting a time aside for yourself, for your health, for your well-being. You're going outside and you can. You're talking to people when you can. It's college is, I think, an experience where you get to talk to a lot of different people and hear a lot of different opinions and worldviews, and it's really important not to just get yourself wrapped up in just the studying. But again, studying is very important, so it's important that you check yourself. Am I doing what I need to do? Is there a way to reduce my stress? I need help. And so when you hear that I need help, make sure to seek it. There's so many resources on campus. If you even are questioning if you need help, try and seek something out, and I guarantee someone will point you in the right direction no matter what. Yeah, it's supposed to be a good time in college, so make sure you're not stressing too much. But it is normal to stress. It is perfectly normal. Remember that too.
And that's a really good thing to know, Jamie. It definitely is kind of stressful. So reaching out and getting help when you need it is super important. I just wanted to add that as Jamie was saying about like being competitive and like comparing to other people type of thing, everybody's like journey through college is super individual. So you might have different adjustment like struggles compared to other people, and it's important just to look at it like for yourself through your own perspective rather than like comparing to anybody else. All right, so the next question is any advice on finding or making a good study group?
Oh, that's a good question. I would start off with your class. Talk to as many people as you can. Introduce yourself. You want to, again, branch out. What I would suggest, this is a personal experience of mine, is I had to be very choosy of who was in my group for studying. Some people are very nice and they're so fun to hang around, but they weren't really effective on studying. So I had to make sure that I was balancing my needs with other people's. A tip I did, though, is before I went into a study session, I would make sure I felt that I was prepared. I wasn't studying during the studying session. I was kind of reviewing. That was my personal strategy for studying, was to make sure I had the material pretty much comfortable with, and then I would go and talk to other people. Yeah, I would talk to people after, and then we would discuss. We would discuss the material, what people are having trouble with, and then also it's good to have a talking to people, because I find when you explain things, you kind of retain it better, and so it helps you study as well. I would definitely create maybe a group chat with your fellow classmates as soon as possible, and don't be afraid to switch study sessions around. Also, you could post things, I believe, on your Canvas on the course. You can post like on the discussions on your Canvas and say, hey, does anyone want to do a study session or something like that? That's a good thing to do as well.
Yeah, and just adding to that, this semester actually I'm in like 10 GroupMes probably for like every class and every subgroup of classes, and they've all been like super helpful. So I think GroupMe or like different apps like that is definitely the way to go in this virtual type of lecture. Also, like you can look at the roster on your Canvas, and it has emails listed too. So there's people in class who are like the first to be like, hey guys, I made a GroupMe. If you want to join, here's the link. We're just going to be studying and like making virtual little chats to figure out this class together. It's all been super helpful and collaborative overall. So
that was super helpful. Thank you. Our next question is, what is your advice for taking notes during lectures? And do you recommend writing them down or recording the lecture or typing notes on a laptop for a class, or does it really depend on the student?
That's a good question. Okay, so that's a lot. I'll start at the first thing. If your it depends how a professor is handling their class. If they're doing a presentation, a lot of them would, maybe not all of them, but some of them would post the presentation beforehand. What I find is whatever you can get before going to a class is best. I would print off the slides beforehand, and then I could take notes on top of it, because the problem is you have a tough time keeping up with paying attention to what the professor's saying and writing down, because you want, again, time is a really critical thing. You don't want to passively take notes and not pay attention to what the professor is saying. So you have to have this balance of listening to what they're saying and understanding, but also taking notes so you have the information. So my recommendation would be to print out whatever you can beforehand, then write on top. You have to, I believe, ask permission from your instructor if they can record their lecture. It depends on everyone, but if the lecture is recorded, I would still suggest writing stuff down. Again, because you need to save time. If you just sit during a lecture, that means you have to watch the whole thing over again, and that's just double the amount of time. So I would make sure that you effectively write the main key points and summarize a slide. Don't feel you have to write every single word down. If you can get the gist of it, that's perfect. Again, if you're trying to get every single word down, you're not going to pay attention to what they're saying, and you're not going to be learning. Organize your notes. Make sure you can use colors. You can make sure you space it out enough that when you review it, you can see where some subjects start and end. So you can kind of group things together. Grouping things together are really helpful for studying. Video lectures are really useful when you're trying to review your notes for an exam. So here's what I do for an exam, and it doesn't work for everyone. Here's my take from it. I write my notes during class, and then when an exam is coming up, I summarize a chapter in like 1 or 2 pages. So I would take all my notes, condense it, and then I'll staple everything together in like a study packet. So my notes are my study packet. Reviewing the notes, making the study packet helps me study, and then I have the study packet to study some more. So it's really useful if you plan ahead, make sure things are organized, and make sure you're going over the material multiple times. Give yourself, you're not going to memorize it in one go. Most people can, I can't. So giving yourself enough time to go through it multiple times, but not too many times and not being too picky with it, because again, that's going to waste time. So it's a nice middle that you have to find for yourself. But that's my recommendation for note lectures.
Those are some really great tips, Jamie. Just to add on to that, I would say it personally depends on the student, because I know a lot of my friends, they like taking notes on their laptop and like typing up in Word and all that. But personally for me, I'm a handwriter. So I would take notes like on paper. And like you said, if before going to class, if you have the lecture, make sure to watch it, take notes so you can listen to the professor during class and not pay attention to taking the notes. But if the professor doesn't post them, then try to listen in class. And personally, I would try to listen in class, and they usually end up posting the lecture after class. And then I would go back after class just to like review what I did and write the notes then.
You two had some really great points. So the next question is, how does one obtain a study mentor and maintain that relationship?
So I believe when you make an appointment, you'll be matched with a study skills mentor. You, I believe, can request the individual. If not, that used to be a feature, but you can maintain the same studies mentor. They work the same time pretty much each week. So if you make that time the same time every week, you'll have the same person. And so you can maintain the study skills mentor and work through things. We can make a folder with the progress you've done, with a plan, if you want to reoccur and have a relationship, like a mentor-mentee relationship with them. But yeah, it's really easy to continue on with the same mentor and to keep your progress just by making the same appointment each week.
All right. Our next question is, if we aren't living on campus in the fall, will we still be able to meet with study skill mentors?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, we are having everything virtual online through Teams. So instead of meeting face-to-face in the library, which we normally would be, we will be meeting through Teams here. It's the same system. You have a 45-minute, so they break apart appointments based on the hour. So 1 o'clock is an appointment, 2 o'clock is an appointment, and so on. So you just schedule an appointment in one of those blocks, and you'll have a Teams appointment with your mentor. It's still face-to-face, hopefully. Both videos are on, so it's easier to interact with people, but it's basically the same system as we have done during the fall. It's just remote or virtual.
Okay, and then on to the next question. When we're given a large volume of information to study to the point where memorizing the whole thing is not feasible, how do we know which pieces of information to focus on reviewing?
Oh, that's such a good question. So this was the problem I had with immunology. Immunology, I felt I had to memorize every single thing. And this is where you get that feeling that you have to just stop yourself and be like, no, there has to be another way. And there is. For 99% of the classes I have come into, the easiest thing to do when you feel like you have a lot of memorization is to understand the material. Create this branch of knowledge of how things are connected to one another. Because when you really understand how things are connected, it's not really memorizing anymore. It's really easy flowing. And so that's the difficult part, though, is understanding the relationship with everything. And so what I would suggest is to break and group things together. Ask yourself, okay, have I learned this thing before? It sounds familiar. How does it connect to what I was just taught? So make sure that pretty much everything that you're being taught throughout the semester is connected to something in another way. And it usually is because, you know, a class is like a theme. It usually covers like a specific group of information. So my recommendation, again, everyone's different, is to not make memorization your first go-to. Not to just have everything memorized all the time, especially for math and biology. Know, why do I have to use this equation? How is this connected to this other thing? How can I figure this out? And that's a good thing to have a group study for. You have all this information you're trying to study. Talk to them. They can help you. What does this have to do with what we just learned and stuff like that? Because there probably is a connection somewhere. I would be very surprised if there isn't, but sometimes it can feel like that. I understand. You're like, where does this come from? But just just take a minute, be like, okay, this isn't feasible. And then understand, okay, I actually have to learn the material. I have to actually understand it and not just passively memorize it. So that's a very good question. Again, some people can memorize things. Don't freak out if they are getting by. But that's just my suggestion if you feel like you're overwhelmed with the memorization.
Thank you. That was really helpful. Next question is, what are your own methods to how you organize your notes? Do you keep them all in one place or have different notebooks for each class?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so throughout all of college, I've tried so many things. I cannot really take notes on the computer, but I still have tried. So I do try to group things together. Notebooks, I use notebooks as loose leaf paper holding things. I don't just carry around loose leaf, I use the notebooks as loose leaf so I can just rip it out so it's all together. And I usually organize things into notebooks. So it's not taking up that much room in my backpack. I go to campus 12 hours a day, so like I have to carry everything at once. So I try to like lighten my load. So I usually carry things in notebooks. Another thing I have done, which has been really helpful, which I have with me, I have an iPad with an iPen, and I use a program on here to take notes, and it's really nice because I don't have to print everything. And so if I forget to print a lecture slide, I can download it on my iPad and write right on top of it. And then when I have an exam, I can just print it out. This has been like the most less amount of paper at once way I've been doing things. So that's been really helpful. But I would group things together, if not a notebook, at least like a notebook, at least like a note file. What was it? A folder. That's what it's called, a folder. keep it in at least a folder, and at least like make one pocket one subject, the other pocket a different subject. Don't just mix the papers together. But I would recommend at least grouping it. And then again, what I do is I take notes during class when I'm reading, and then I group things together by the date. And then when I take my exam, when I'm studying, I minimize it. I either use the notes, if I took really good notes, I either use that as my study guide, or if I feel like I was really sloppy, I would rewrite and condense it. Like again, I only condense like a chapter into like 2 pages. And I'm not writing like really, really small. Again, I'm writing the big concepts and connecting things as I'm doing this. And that's a good thing to do, to stop memorizing, write down what you actually have to memorize, and connect things as you go. That's a good thing. And I do this usually at least a week before an exam, if not more. So that's a good thing to check yourself, like at least a week before an exam, because if you're really panicking, you at least have time to adjust your study skills. If you're doing this a few days before, you don't have enough time to adjust how you're going to study. And again, as you go on, your study habits will change. Don't think that what's like I can study a day before is going to work in another class, because unfortunately it won't. And I've learned that enough, but you'll probably learn the same lesson too, maybe. But it's just a warning. It's a good thing to look out for.
No, yeah, for sure, Jamie. I'm the same. In terms of like my campus bag, it probably weighs like 50 pounds. So I found that there's like accordion binders type things, and they have different little pockets you can put stuff in. And then I think buying like notebooks, if you like handwriting, they have folders in them, and you can get dividers for that as well. And then if you use like Google Drive or any Google apps or like Microsoft apps, you can make like separate folders for your classes actually, and then store like typed up notes or any documents like that inside of each of those folders.
I would like to, that's a great point. I just want to add, if you do online stuff, definitely upload it to like Google Drive or OneDrive. If you can access it anywhere, that's going to save you so much headache. If you have to print something and you left it on your home computer, you can access it from any other computer if you log into your OneDrive. So that's a really good suggestion. And Google does the same thing.
Very good point. So besides a mentor for just study skills, are there mentors to show you the ropes? For example, a senior in pre-med who knows what they're doing could mentor a confused freshman who is in pre-med as well.
Yes, there are lots of mentoring programs at USF. I don't know if I cut out there, but yes, there are a lot of mentoring programs at USF. This isn't a program that the study skills mentor has specifically. There are, for pre-med specifically, there probably is a club. I know there's like a pre-med society that they would probably have some mentoring programs similar to that. Again, if you reach out to anyone, they can direct you in the right direction. They're unrelated note, there's like life skills mentors at the Wellness Center. The Dean Student Leadership Society has mentoring-ships. I don't know if anyone else can add to this, but I would definitely, I think that's something that might happen, but this is definitely not a study skills mentor thing.
I think a good opportunity is to explore what your specific college offers. Check out your college's website. Oftentimes they'll be able to advertise perhaps some major specific programs or something like that. Or check out some student organizations via BullSync if you haven't already.
Yeah, BullSync is a really good resource to use to search for things on campus. And for a pre-med thing, I believe there's something for everything on BullSync. So yes, I would definitely check that one out too.
Yeah, definitely. Just to add on to that, I know that College of Business has like a bunch of like tutoring stuff, so that's something to check out. The next question is, what is the difference between a study skills mentor and a tutor for a specific subject?
Oh, that's a really good thing. Okay, so a tutor, what they would normally do is go over, a tutor is not a replacement of your class or a professor, so they won't teach you material. What they will do is, as a tutor, is they will identify which areas you will struggle in, and they will refine either topics that you have need help with, or help you make connections. What a study skills mentor do is we don't work. So if you come in and you say, I'm having a problem in physics, we can't help with any of your physics questions, but we can say, okay, is this problem the content? Are you having difficulty understanding it? Or is there something you can do to help, like with note taking? Are you taking notes? If you're not taking notes to the class, that probably won't help. And it's probably something a mentor we can help you with, is to make sure you are at least doing the most you can, so that when a tutor assists you, they understand, okay, this student has done the most they can do, and now I can help because they've gone over all the material. They just need help understanding it or making connections. And that's something a tutor specifically does, that a study skills mentor cannot do.
Again, Jamie, thank you so much for your insight. So the next question is, when reviewing for a test, how do you know what type of questions will be asked, or which content will the professor specifically focus on?
Oh, that's a really good question. So there's a difference. It depends on the professor. Some professors will release a study outline or review. Those will be the main topics that they want you to focus on. Others don't, and that's a more difficult one to do because you feel like you have to know everything. If they don't give you a study sheet, my recommendation would be to outline what they've done in class and what they've done, any reading or anything. Usually lectures are partitioned off into specific topics, and make sure that that's how you're going to split it off. Okay, this is this topic, this is that topic. How would you ask? Yeah, you can ask your professor, hey, don't be afraid to ask what's going to be on the exam. They might have, they might upload the specific topics, example questions. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't. And a good thing to use, unfortunately, is after the first exam, you can use it as a reference. Okay, they really like doing like long questions. They really like pulling things from the textbook. I have to read the textbook more carefully. It's really not until after the first exam, unfortunately, do you understand what, like, how the class is going to really go. Sometimes there's only, sometimes it can be really stressful. But again, if you are curious, what will it look like? Ask your professor. I guarantee a lot of them will give you a lot of information about the exam, and it will really help so you can adjust your studying habits to do as well as you can on the exam.
Yeah, Jamie, I think it's really about like adapting as well. So that was a really good point about the first exam being like a good indicator of how you should do things in the future. I found it really helpful if there's like a textbook for the class, which most classes have. The back of the book often has like a review section. So it'll talk about all of the main points, and usually I found that my professors kind of base their test off of that outline if they don't provide one themselves. So I would definitely look into that. But again, if you ask your professor and if they don't already provide the information, it's likely that they'll tell you what exactly is going on, and even what type of questions, like multiple choice, short answer, that kind of thing as well.
I definitely agree with what you both said. And now for our last question of the night. What do you do when a professor teaches in a certain way that you might struggle with?
Yes. From my experience, it will be very strange to not come into this problem. There are a lot of different teaching styles at the university, in every college, and it's really hard to get someone that's exactly like teaching the way you're used to in high school, or that may benefit you the most. My advice is don't get as upset with them. If they're not teaching the style that you want, it could maybe be the style of someone else. Don't panic. This is a normal thing that's going to happen in college. It just means that you're going to have to rely on yourself more to understand the material, which can be very stressful. I would go and switch the mindset as to this, because my initial instinct when I come to a professor, it's really frustrating, is I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm stressed. What I found best is to check myself and say, okay, this is really hard, but I know I'm going to get it. And there's this weird thing, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when you change your attitude to I'm going to get it and not this person's awful, I'm never going to get it, I'm just going to barely pass this class. Once you switch to a positive one, it's a lot smoother. It's a lot more rewarding. I would use that time to make sure your note-taking abilities are effective. That, again, you're understanding the material. You're not just memorizing. And again, we are all here for everyone at USF. I, as a tutor myself, I know a lot of students who are very angry with the professor. They're like, they're not teaching me. I'm like, that's okay. I mean, it's not okay because it sucks, but we will help you understand the material. You have the capability, because everyone at the USF is so smart and so driven, and so they've worked so hard to get there, that as tutors, we know that they can go further and they can do this. And again, make sure you just have the positive attitude in yourself that you can do it, and that you're taking the note strategies, you are time management. And I think, honestly, when you have a class where you felt like you had to work that hard for, it's more rewarding. And you're like, yeah, I just taught myself like all this material, and yeah, it's really rewarding when you do it, but you can do it. And that's, I think, the most important thing, at least for me, is that positive outlook, and to make sure you're organized.
Yeah, Jamie, I definitely agree. I think those classes are the most rewarding, and I think I like a challenge a little too much, because I prefer those over like normal, you know what I mean? Like, oh, we work well together type thing. Basically, I think it's important to remember there are a ton of like supplemental resources as well, including the study skills mentors, obviously. There's like free study stuff on Google. You can do study groups. I think there's always a way to get around like a teaching style not working for you. So it's just about persevering through it, and you're going to come out like a way better student in the end. So just remember that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I have run into several times where what the professor has been teaching has not been working for me. So it just comes down to you. You have to go out and find like what does work for you, what doesn't. And so you have to rely on yourself to teach yourself the material if it comes down to that. But yeah, definitely check out all the other like resources you have. There's so many things the library can help you with, or just all the other tutors. But yeah, those were some great questions, everybody. Jamie, do you have any key takeaway points from tonight?
I do. I would take away that the Academic Success Center at the University of South Florida offers a lot of resources to students to help succeed, including, as we mentioned today, the study skills mentors. You can make an appointment through the online form, which again will be sent if you click on the attendance link here. If you can't find it there, you can also go to the ASC website. And the final thing is, if you need help, if you feel like you need help, please seek it. There are so many resources on campus. Even if you doubt like just a tiny bit, like we can help you, at least say, no, you're doing great. And then you'll have like, yay, I feel great now. Like, no matter what, please seek help, especially from the study skills mentors. And I know this is a very stressful time, but make sure you reflect on like how your attitude is, what you can control in the moment. And I believe that all of you guys will succeed. But yeah.
Those are some great questions, everyone. Hopefully this time was helpful for you all to really get to know more about the study skills mentors, the different ways that they can help you kind of adjust your study habits, and the ways that you can take advantage of them to really maximize your success in your courses. So I want to say a quick thank you again to our pals and to Jamie from the Academic Success Center for joining us tonight to help us learn more about these resources and just get our questions answered about what it's like studying for college courses and maybe, how to best adjust from past experiences. In a moment here, you should see the attendance link one more time sent in the announcement section. So again, if you're watching this live and you haven't already, go ahead and give that a click if you want to get that follow-up email from the Academic Success Center. And then if you are watching this as a recording after the fact, so not currently live with us, you can go ahead and email the Academic Success Center. Their email is currently displayed on your screen. That is asctampa@usf.edu. And they'll be more than happy to get you that follow-up information. So we hope to see you all at our next How to College virtual chat this upcoming Monday, July 27th at 8 p.m., where we will all be learning more about bull-to-bull financial education. And this is a great resource on campus, staffed by some great professional staff members and also students who help folks learn more about balancing finances and all of that. So if that is of interest to you, we hope to see you next Monday evening. And then for more information about these virtual chats and some other great opportunities for all bulls this summer, please definitely check out our summer website, which is also currently displayed on your screen. Thanks again for joining us to learn more about How to College, and as always, go Bulls!